I was like, this is what I actually like to do. So through that, I actually got certified as a personal trainer, realizing like, oh, I can get certified, I can get certifications. And that was kind of the start of like, I want to do my own thing, right? I kind of kept with the business because I was having family kind of help me. So I was like, all right, I'll finish school in 4 years. I didn't want to change my degree. I want to kind of get out. So during kind of that time, I would say like end of sophomore year into junior year, I invested into my like first course. It was like a digital marketing course, and that's when like I got fully involved into this digital marketing type of thing. And also into mindset, right? A lot of the entrepreneurs we see, like they talk about mindset, how important it is. So I got the base level of mindset stuff, and that just led into like, okay, so I could have all the tactics in the world and all the skills, but I might not take the action to get things done. And that usually happens because of mindset. So I just dived more and more into that. I invested into more coaches, more courses, and just really try to like bring myself into that environment as much as possible. So kind of like junior year, I knew I wasn't going to get some type of job or something. I really wanted to start my own business, and I really wanted to just help people. I felt like I had to create a purpose because my dad passed away, and that purpose was really that everything happens for a reason, and it is your perspective of that reason that makes it real. So before, my perspective was kind of like I was hopeless. I hated God. I felt like nothing was right, right?
Mm-hmm.
They took my dad away. Other bad stuff was happening. I got held at gunpoint twice. I lost thousands of dollars. So all this stuff was happening, and I was like, all right, like I'm not supposed to be happy. And then, years and years go by, and I become more mature, and I realize, all right, everything happens for a reason, and is my perspective of that thing that makes that reason. So realizing I'm in control of it. So that led into kind of starting my business on the side as I was doing personal training out of college, and I started a marketing agency with my friend because I was kind of chasing this money. I was like, oh, right, marketing agencies can make me a lot of money. This is an important thing too because I realized I don't like marketing like that. I don't like making Facebook ads. And I realized that wasn't the business for me because it didn't go anywhere because I wasn't passionate about it. And I don't think I cared enough about it to really put the effort in to make something happen because it was all kind of money driven, right? Um, but what I realized was doing the fitness, learning more about mindset, learning more about the reason why we do things as human beings and what really matters led me to going all in with Become Your Elite and making that the thing that I do. So that's kind of
Wait, do you think that, if you're in that state of mind of like depression and sadness, that you need to find the mechanism or a way, an outlet to distract your mind from just sitting there and thinking about what happened in the past? So instead of doing that, you can find a way to distract yourself. That could be either finding a business or working out. And do you think that for anyone who's going through that mindset, uh, to really find something that they can love doing. So, for example, you tried digital marketing, wasn't your thing, and you really dove into mindset. So, you think that once you're in that state of mind, that you have to try to find something that you will love doing and not stay stagnant.
yeah, I think the most important thing is really trying to figure out what it is that we actually want. Because a lot of times we see other people
Mm-hmm.
have these things. Like I was on social media and I saw all these people with marketing agencies making all this money, and I was like, oh, I can make I can make $10,000 a month in 3 months, right? Just get a couple clients and then bing bang boom, I got it, right? That was like my mindset, right? Because that's what everybody tells you. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's what marketers do, and they show you, hey, make 10K in 90 days. So I think the first thing is figure out what you want. And the best way to do that is think about the things that you used to do as a kid, or think about the things that gives you energy, right? Do I actually care about marketing? Do I actually like really enjoy it, right? Or am I just doing it for the money? Because I think anytime we just do something just for the money, it's not going to last like for the long term. So if we're going to start a business, why don't we do it for the long term instead of the short term, right? If we're really in business, right? If we're actually trying to start a business, why don't we think 5 years, 10 years, 20 years instead of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, right? So I think if someone's like kind of going through depression or just mental health issues, I think first, depending on how bad it is, you should work out and you should eat healthy and you should listen to positive kind of videos or affirmations or audios like on YouTube, and then get around people who uplift you. So it's kind of like base level stuff. Like I don't even know if I would worry about starting a business at that point. It's kind of like do the things that make you happy, and then improve your health. Because if
Hmm.
you're trying to like start a business and you're depressed yourself, it's gonna be really hard. So I
Okay,
think it's like like base level stuff.
so just surround yourself with as much positivity, as possible. That can be watching videos or watching or reading a book, something to that degree. Because I guess, yeah, starting a business will be like a huge jump, right?
Yeah, it would be a little difficult. So it's kind of like do again like exercise, eat healthy, right? You are what you eat. So if like someone's eating like crap, like it's going to be difficult for them to even you know think about interacting with other people and like having that kind of stress too. So the really important part is you know get your mental health good, meaning get your health good, exercise, eat healthy, read books. I always recommend meditating and journaling. I
Hmm.
think those are super important for any and all people, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Meditate and journal, right? Because meditating, one, is giving yourself the space to actually become more self aware. So it's almost not even like you want to ignore the depression. It's almost accepting. It's like you have to accept, like, oh, I am depressed, and that's okay because any resistance to the depression makes it worse because you're not accepting reality. So you're in like this false reality. Like for me, I was like, oh, I'm not depressed. I'm super happy and like I'm good. But like I wasn't, right? So by denying it, I wasn't able to move past it. And I think that's a really big thing, especially for the guys out there. It's like if you're
Are
not okay, like that's okay.
are there stages in terms of like a depression?
So there's two things to talk about with that. Is there's kind of situational depression, which was like what happened to me, like my dad died, right?
Hmm.
That's a situation. Of
Yeah.
course I'm going to be depressed. And then there's non-situational, where it's like maybe you had the best childhood, you have all your parents, you have great friends, you have great job, maybe you have a great business. You're making money, but like something's off, right? Like think like Robin Williams. Like
Hmm.
he committed suicide, but he seems like he had everything. So
Yeah.
there's sometimes non-situational where it's like maybe something's happening internally. Like maybe your gut health is really bad, right? Maybe there's something, in your neurochemistry that's like kind of a little messed up based on like your environment. So there's situational, which something happens, and then there's non-situational. So it's kind of depends because there's like stages I would say to grief, which would be kind of what I went through, but there's definitely different levels of depression, right? Because
Hmm.
there's people who have like they have depression, but they're going to work, they're getting things done, they're contributing to society, but they're maybe not as happy as you know they wish they were. And then there's people who have like debilitating depression and they can't even get up out of bed. And I
Hmm.
was at that point at one point. I was like, I couldn't even get out of bed. I felt like everything was caving in. I felt heavy. I felt tired. I couldn't even think about like doing anything in my business at that point, right? But then you kind of just what happens is you get more hope. So at that point, it's like, all right, can I? Because it's really interesting because it's you stop doing all your habits. So it's like, can I brush my teeth? Can I drink water like on a regular basis? Can I eat 3 meals? Like, can I work out? Right? Can I do these basic things? So if someone's really low in depression, they're gonna have a hard time doing any of that, right? So it's like small steps, and then you gradually build up. But I would say for people who are maybe doing well, but they're just like, I'm not as happy as I want to be. Like, what's going on? Like, something's off. right? Like something's just
Hmm.
off in their life. And at that point, you have to explore, like, well, why are you doing what you're doing? And I think that's like one of the main questions anyone should ask themselves if they are running a business or if they want to start a business is why are you doing what you're doing or why do you want to do that?
So you need to have a why to not only starting your business, but I guess to everything. Because you think that at some point, if you just do things without a reason, there can be a point where you don't want it at the end and you can just be in the stage where you're just depressed. Like, you know what, I put all this work, but for what reason?
Yeah, right. You get to the gold and then you're like, ah, I have everything. This is yeah, you're like, it's like a couple days or something. You're like, oh wow, like I thought this was going to be a lot better than it is. Because um it's not just why am I doing what I'm doing, it's like it's like you have to ask yourself why multiple times because this is the difficult part. And this is what I ran into is usually why we want to do something isn't even our own why. It's not even ours. It's all the things we heard from our parents and everything from our past leading up to that moment has been like programming us. So if you keep going online and looking at people on social media starting an Amazon store, Shopify store, a marketing agency, car rental business, or whatever type of business, and you're like, oh, I can do that. I want to do that. That's what I want, right? Laptop lifestyle, all that stuff too. You look at that and you think that's what you want because you're seeing other people do it. But in reality, that might not even be what you want.